Success is not waiting at the finish line of some extraordinary day you have not yet had. It is waiting at the end of a long series of ordinary days that you decided each morning to make slightly better than the one before. Not dramatically, not spectacularly, slightly, by 1%, by one small decision, by one more repetition, by one less excuse. That is the distance between where you are and where you are going. And it is measured in days, not in leaps. 1% better every day. At the end of 1 year, you are not 1% better. You are 37 times better. This is not motivational mathematics. It is actual mathematics. The compound effect of daily small improvement is exponential, not linear. The person who improves by 1% every day for a year arrives at a place that the person who waited for the perfect day never reaches. Not because the daily person is more talented, but because they showed up more. The person waiting for the perfect day to begin has been waiting for longer than they intended. The perfect conditions do not arrive. The motivation does not come first. The motivation, when it comes, almost always comes after the beginning, not before it. The person who waits to feel ready before they start never starts. The person who starts without feeling ready discovers, somewhere in the starting, that readiness is not a condition for beginning. It is a result of it. The small act done consistently beats the large act done occasionally. Every time, without exception. The person who reads 10 pages every day reads 12 books a year. The person who reads 100 pages when they feel inspired reads 3. The person who does 20 minutes of work on their skill every morning without missing is a different person in 2 years than the person who does 4 hours once a month. Consistency is not glamorous. It is the only variable that actually predicts the outcome. The bad day is part of the system. This is what most people do not account for. That the daily commitment was never a commitment to performing at full capacity every day. It was a commitment to showing up every day. Showing up on a bad day at 50% capacity is worth more to the compound than not showing up on the bad day and waiting for a better one. Because the compound does not reward the size of individual efforts. It rewards the number of them. The first sign of progress is always smaller than you expected. This is a moment that ends many people's commitment. They see the first result of consistent daily work, and it does not match the size of the effort they feel they have invested. But this is the nature of compound growth in its early stages. The curve is flat before it bends. The flatness is not evidence that the work is not working. It is the necessary early phase of a process that will eventually become unmistakable. The people who quit in the flat phase never reach the curve. Something shifts when daily consistency runs long enough, and the shift is not primarily in your results. It is in your identity. You stop being someone who is trying to improve and become someone who improves. The difference is not semantic. A person who is trying can stop. A person who is someone for whom the daily practice is simply what they do, the same way eating and sleeping are what they do, has made the commitment structural rather than motivational. Structural commitments do not not depend on feeling like it. They simply happen. The people who sustain daily improvement do not sustain it through superior willpower. They sustain it through superior design. They put the book where they will open it. They put the equipment where they will use it. They remove from their path the decisions that drain energy without adding value. They make the right thing the easy thing every day, so that daily consistency does not require a heroic act of will. It requires only the ordinary act of following the path they have already built. The curve arrives. It always arrives. For the person who stayed in the flat phase long enough. And when it arrives, it does not arrive slowly. The results that took a year to become barely visible become unmistakable in the next few months, because the compound has been building the whole time, and the building has finally reached the part of the curve where building becomes visible, and the person who built it did not change their approach when the curve arrived. They simply kept doing what they had been doing every day while the curve was still invisible. Successes, when it arrives, looks like an overnight thing to the people who are seeing it for the first time. They see the result without having been present for the daily work that built it. They say, "I don't know how they did it so fast." They did not do it fast. They did it every day. And they did it on the days when no one was watching, and on the days when the curve was still flat, and on the bad days at 50% capacity, and on the days they did not feel like it, which is every day that matters. The most useful thing a person who has arrived somewhere can tell someone who is just beginning is not the strategy or the framework or the secret. It is this: there is no day when it becomes easy. There is only the day when it becomes yours. When the practice is no longer something you are doing to become something. It is simply something you do because it is who you are. That day does not arrive by waiting for it. It arrives by showing up until it is simply the truth. Better every day. Not perfect every day. Not spectacular every day. Not even good every day. Because some days the best available is showing up at reduced capacity and doing the thing anyway. Better. Slightly. Consistently. Over time, that compounds into something you could not have predicted from the first day. Looking at the flat part of the curve and deciding whether to stay. Stay. The curve is coming. Success is not waiting for the perfect version of you. It is waiting for the consistent one. And the consistent one is available right now. In this ordinary morning, at this ordinary beginning, in this one small act taken today that will compound into everything you are heading toward.